Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. That's the business, man. That's the business. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the P-Ave Perspective. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neal. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching the live stream or whether you're watching the replay on YouTube. I truly appreciate you tuning in. First of all, let me apologize for last week. Anybody that know me know I got my grandbaby with me, and she gets all the time. So last week she waited until the live stream. She heard my voice and started calling me. So I had to run. But I apologize for that. And we're going to get back on track this week. And we keeping the same topic. The topic for this week is, have you missed your soulmate? Have you missed your soulmate? So, like I said, man, if you got any comments, any opinions on the topic, feel free, drop a comment, send me a message, and share your experiences. If you found your soulmate, we want to hear about it. If you, missed your soulmate, if you missed your soulmate, we want to hear about that too. I think that can help a lot of people. And any questions you have, feel free to drop them in the comments. But let's jump right into it. What do you think a soulmate is? What do you think a soulmate is? Because I've talked to different people, male and female, and asked them what their definition of a soulmate is. And honestly, I get so many different definitions. The one thing I want to say about us is, in the mind state that a lot of us are in, when I ask people these questions, that's like, what's real? Define a soulmate. It's usually based on that person's perception, how that person feels, that person's views, and that person's opinions. So, just like I said, you get 1,000 answers, but mainly the answers are somebody that's perfect for you. And let me start off the rip and say, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. A soulmate is someone who aligns with your soul's purpose, your purpose in life. They help you grow and bring out the best in you. And think about that. Not everybody can do that. Let's just keep it real. That's what separates the soulmate from, the husband or whatever it is. It takes it to a deeper level, because a soulmate is aligned with your soul's purpose. What is your purpose here on earth? We talked about that a few times in past episodes. And honest and truly, I don't believe that you can truly hope to find your soulmate until you realize your purpose here on earth. And like that's a major issue with us, a lot of us, because I can tell how a lot of us live and how a lot of us go about our daily life, that we haven't realized what our purpose here on earth is. And let's be real. Our purpose was not to party, bullshit, and live our life, you know what I'm saying, to the best, to the fullest on our terms. That's not our purpose. I truly believe that everybody was born with a purpose. And the bigger picture of that purpose with everybody is to do something to make a positive impact on this world. What are you doing? What is your purpose here on earth? God didn't waste the breath that he blew into you. God didn't waste the life that he gave you. For us to just, you know what I'm saying, like we said, just surviving or just living life or just doing, doing it our way. Or doing it how we want to do it. And like I personally know this because, like I said, early on, I made a decision to start, you know what I'm saying, just doing and living life how I wanted to live it and doing what I wanted to do. Like, I'm grown, I can do what I want to do, but that's not God's purpose for us. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a long time to realize that. And in the process, I personally, you know what I'm saying, miss my soulmate. And I can honestly say that. And it was really based on my conditions. You know what I'm saying? My mindset. Because like I said, like so many young black males from the hood or impoverished communities, we get caught up in that mindset. Our mindset switched from living life and being the best person that we could be to the survival mode. And everybody know about the survival mode. In the survival mode, it's like a everyday, I gotta get it. Tomorrow's not promised. You know what I'm saying? So I have to get it today type situation. So you're not even able to look forward to what are you gonna be later on in life or what are you gonna do with your life? Because you're so caught up in the day to day and staying focused on what's in front of you and what's behind you to the point where you can't even take the time out to look forward and plan 2 years from now or 5 years from now. And that be the main thing. That's what caught me up. Because like I said, my surroundings pushed me to survival mode. And once I kicked into survival mode, it's strictly, I gotta get money, I gotta make sure that I'm set, I gotta make sure that I don't want for nothing, my family don't want for nothing, in that mind state. And to keep it real, I missed my soulmate because I was so mind gone and so focused on survival to the point where, honest and truly, when I met her, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I already had not my purpose, but I knew what I wanted to do in life. I knew how I wanted to live my life. I knew the type of woman that I needed in my life, you know what I'm saying, to help make me a better person. You know what I'm saying? To not complete me, but to enhance me. And like I said, I met her. But like I said, I was so caught up in the streets and I was so caught up in, I looked at it like based on my upbringing. I've always looked at relationships like, as a man, you're supposed to realize your purpose. You're supposed to go get your own and then look for your woman, look for your complement. But like I said, so many of us do that today. So many of us do that today. So many of us, feel like, we have to have that person or we have to, but I felt like I had to get me together before I even started looking for that person. So, like I said, when I met that person, I had that person right there with me, but my idea was, and I was honest with her to say, look, I'm not ready yet. This is what I want. You are what I want. You know what I'm saying? You are the woman that I want to marry, that I need in my life. But right now, I can't focus on that because I'm focusing on getting myself together and getting my money and getting right. Then I'll come for you. But I didn't realize that maybe that was the plan. You know what I'm saying? And people nowadays, I see all these women out here, that got yourself together and, you want your man to have himself together, and that's cool. That's cool, but that's not always how it works. That's not always how it works. You know what I'm saying? At the time I met her, she didn't have anything, I didn't have anything. But we had goals. We had dreams. We had an idea of how we wanted to live our life, how we wanted to raise our kids, and how we wanted our relationship or our marriage to be. So a lot of times, like I said, we miss because we looking for perfection or we looking for it to be, we not ready. We're not ready. But I want to discuss some of the barriers that keep us from recognizing or attracting our soulmate, man, because it's so important. The main relationship struggles that affect our people are number one, unresolved trauma and emotional baggage. How past pain blinds us to real love. Think about that. And like, believe me, I had my own issues that I dealt with, you know what I'm saying, from unresolved trauma and emotional baggage. But I was lucky enough to not let it, you know what I'm saying, destroy me to the point where I couldn't see love, recognize love, and embrace it. Embrace it. I've never been to that, you know, I never got that bad. Don't get me wrong, I have issues with women, I've had issues with my mother, I've had issues with my father not being there, so many issues. But like I tell people, I was blessed to have the foundation in place before all of that started happening. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And like I tell some of my homeboys, a lot of the emotional trauma and baggage, we don't even understand that we dealing with it. And I'm gonna give you an example. Like domestic abuse, the family violence, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's, you know, your mom and her boyfriend, or you know what I'm saying, just the violence, just the fighting and everything like that. I tell people all the time, I was taught and told that that's not right. That it's not right, you know what I'm saying, for men to abuse women or men to hit women. I was taught that by men. I was taught that men were protectors. But at the same token, I personally know homeboys who weren't taught that. I personally know homeboys who saw that, and even me by example, you know what I'm saying, in dealing with my mother. My mother told me before, like, that's grown-up business. Stay out of it. You a child, stay in a child's place. And think about that. As a young man in the household where you're seeing your mother being abused, or you're seeing, you know what I'm saying, the woman that raised you or gave birth to you being abused, and you want to try to save them, you want to try to, you know what I'm saying, protect them because you was taught like that. But then imagine that person saying, well, that's grown up business. Like, it's cool. That's grown up business. You know, you a child, you stay in a child's place, and if you can't stay in a child's place, then you don't need to be here. And it's like, even though that was one of the worst situations ever, like, it taught me a lot, and I respect it. But I respect the fact that, like you said, if you were, I was a child. If I didn't want to abide by the rules and the regulations of the household, then I didn't need to be there, and that's real. I tell my kids that to the end, but that is abuse. That is abuse. When you say that's grown folks' business, and you teach kids that that's grown folks' business, what do you think they feel like they supposed to do when they get grown? That's the cycle. But unresolved trauma and emotional baggage, man, that plays a major role in our relationship struggles, and that blinds us to the point where we can't see the people who really care about us. We can't see the people who mean, you know, us best. And like I said, that's one of the issues that hinder us, for real, man, from finding love, you know, being able to recognize it. Because I know for a fact, me personally, I have loved a few women above and beyond. Above and beyond, and I feel like they didn't recognize it. And it's because, like I said, unresolved trauma, emotional baggage that they never got rid of, that they never dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the main problems. Another problem that we face as people, and I know, like I said, I've had relationships, and I'm gonna tell you this, you know what I'm saying? When people say about giving relationship advice, I might not be the best person to give relationship advice depending on who's listening, but my relationship resume includes this. I can guarantee that And like a lot of men can't say this, but I can guarantee you that if given the opportunity, I would say about 90% of the women that I've dated in the past would date me again. Would date me again. Would take me in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? And that alone, this day and age, when I hear how these women talk about their exes and talk about their kids' fathers and stuff like that, like that in itself, just saying that, you know, even though it didn't work out, it didn't end bitterly. It was no hatred. It was no, you know, animosity. It was basically because we wasn't on the same page. Like I said, I was healed. I was, you know what I'm saying, focused. I was driven. I had my morals. I had my values. And like I said, I love women to the best of my ability, but they weren't ready. They weren't ready. They weren't ready. And it didn't work because they couldn't understand it. They couldn't understand the love I gave. Because in the whole time, they trying to figure out what's the motive, what's the angle. Is he trying to run game, or is he, you know? So they never even put forth the major effort because they felt like something was wrong. This was too good to be true, or something got to be wrong. He can't be telling the truth about everything. He got to be lying about something. Like unresolved trauma and emotional baggage. But the next problem that we have is poor communication skills. Poor communication skills. How fear of being vulnerable pushes potential soulmates away. And let me say this. Good evening, Mr. Lisa. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in with me today. But think about this, man. So many of us today, I believe 90%, probably more than that, of the issues that we have with black on black violence, the family structure and the destruction of the family structure, how the family is not as strong as they used to be. Like really, any issues that we face as a people, I guarantee you 90% of the problem is poor communication skills. Poor communication skills. And like, believe me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still socialize. I still deal with women. I still talk to people. I still talk to people about relationships. I'm still trying to build. So I'm talking to these women and I'm realizing, just like I said, the fear of vulnerability. Think about it. And I know some women feel like that way. If you're one of those women that feel like, you know what I'm saying, that way, let me know in the comments. But so many women today feel like that they can't communicate their needs to a potential mate. Think about that. Think about that. As the same man, y'all want us, you know what I'm saying, to court y'all, get to know y'all, all of that is cool. But think about it. If you feel like, okay, I don't want to tell people certain stuff about me because they will use it against me, you're not ready for a relationship. That is a communication barrier that will, if not already destroy your past relationship, it will destroy every relationship you have in the future. Because as a man who's interested in any woman, I have to know all about her. I have to know all about her so I can decide if I can give her the stuff she needs. If I can provide her with what she needs as a woman. That's what it starts with. What does she need? Now, for the women who don't need no man, you won't get one. You won't find one. But if a woman can express herself, if a woman can talk to me and say, okay, I'm weak in this area, I'm strong in this area, but like in this area right here, I'm just totally, you know what I'm saying, out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the conversations, the honest conversations that has to be had for people to really see if they even compatible. Let alone, you know, made for or destined to be in a relationship. We have to see if we compatible. because relationships and soulmates, man, is about balance. It's not about matching energy. I'm gonna say that because a woman's energy should be 100% woman energy. If you feel like you have masculine energy because you feel like you've had to step up and play the man's role, like I don't even want to deal with that. No man, you know what I'm saying? Because think about it. I raised two of my kids. I raised my second daughter, you know what I'm saying, and my third son from the time they were babies. I taught my daughter, I potty trained my daughter. I bought her first panties. I potty trained her. I did her hair. My parts wasn't always on point, but like I did all of that as a father to my daughter, and I never felt like it was no feminine energy involved. So when women say, "Oh, I've had to be masculine," if you've had to be masculine, I like real men don't want that. And that's like I don't knock the people, the women that are, I don't knock them, but that's not, you know what I'm saying, what a man is looking for, because a real man is masculine energy all day. A real woman is woman feminine energy all day. Those two combine to create a whole different energy. So for the people who matching energies, that's not, you know what I'm saying, what life is all about. That means you stepping out of your character and stepping out of who you are based on somebody else. If a woman go cheat on me, she bring her own karma upon herself. But if I try to get even and match energy, that's not going to bring no karma toward her. That's going to bring bad karma toward me. And a lot of us need to stay, but we need to learn how to communicate, man. For real. That's one of the main things. And he asked too many questions, or you know what I'm saying? I've tried to ask women questions to try to understand their feelings. And they're so messed up, and the communication is so bad to the point where I'm accused of playing mind games. Like, how do I get to know you if I can't delve into your mind? If I can't figure out how you think in certain situations or what pushes you to act a certain way in situations, how can I say I truly know you? We have to, know what I'm saying? We have to get that understanding. We have to figure that out. We have to figure out how to communicate. We have to figure out how to be vulnerable. I don't have a problem with it because I'm solid in my manhood to the point where I will tell you my weakness. And as soon as I see you trying to use it against me, I will leave your ass alone. It's not that serious. So we have to get to the point, and the main thing about communication where we lack is we uncomfortable with ourselves. That's the main thing I see with women. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm a man. I date women. That's why I'm stressing women. I'm not putting all the blame or putting, everything on women. I speak on women because I date women. If you look at a woman speaking on the same thing, she'll say the majority of men, because that's what she deal with. So I'm not bashing by a long shot, but that's one of the most impossible things to overcome: communication. I've been in relationships with women where I've said, hey, as your man, you know what I'm saying? Say we have to borrow some money. If we doing bad and, you know what I'm saying, we need some money, I've said, hey, I don't want my woman, you know what I'm saying, out there having to borrow no money. If we need to do that type of thing, let me know and I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And I've had women go and say, well, I ain't waiting on no man to do nothing. I don't want, that is cool. All of that is cool. But understand, once that man is looking for the woman who needs him as a man. A lot of women these days, they don't look at who I am and what I need to balance me out or what I need to enhance me. They just looking at, do we look good? Do we look good in pictures together? If we post pictures on social media, are we a cute couple? That's not no soulmate level stuff right there. It shouldn't be that the same for men too, because most men think they shouldn't be vulnerable. They feel like they are supposed to hold their feelings in and not share or communicate with women. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Like I said, Just like I just said, Ms. Alicia, if I was a woman talking about this, I would be talking man, man, man. You know what I'm saying? That's most definitely. But as a man, I deal with women. So that's why I say women. But most importantly, just like I said, I'm a man. I have no problem telling a woman my weakness because either she can pick it up in that area. Think about it. It's just like a relationship. If you got, you know what I'm saying, one person good with money and the other person not. Like, if we want to prosper and we grow and we really truly soulmates, we should be able to work it out to the point where the one who is good with money, whether it's the woman or the man. You know what I'm saying? They say, well, man had the money, this and the third, this and the third. Look, bro, if my wife is, you know what I'm saying, or my woman is better with money at saving money, paying bills, if she's better than that than me, I have no problem stepping out of the way and let her do that. Because she's enhancing me. If I'm weak in the area of money and she's stronger, she'll enhance my money game. She'll manage the money. She'll grow the money. She'll teach me things about money and vice versa. The stuff that I know about where she's lacking or she's not as strong in, I'll balance her out. And that's, you know what I'm saying, what I've always tried to do. That's why I got into coaching. That's why I do the majority of the stuff I do. It is my purpose to help people better themselves. That is my purpose. And that ain't just started. That ain't just started. Over the years, I've got more tools with my life coaching, you know what I'm saying, certificate, with my college degrees, and I've got more, tools in my toolbox that I can use to help myself and my people better themselves. But it's always been that. It's always been that. But most definitely, like I said, with men too, these men are damaged. These men, but like, think about it, Miss Alicia. These men are not acting damaged around me, just like they not acting damaged around y'all. That's the difference. That's how, you know what I'm saying, people rock. Like I tell my kids, 90% of the people today have a mask. They wear a mask, so you don't even get to see the true person until they get comfortable enough to let you see little bits at a time. And that's the reason for the you know what I'm saying, the lack of real relationships, real solid relationships, let alone soulmates. Because like I said, it's deeper on so many levels. It's deeper on so many levels. But another issue that we deal with is financial struggles. That survival mode. That survival mode distracts us, man. It distracts us and it prevents us from gaining deep emotional connections because we so busy thinking about the money. And I'm not gonna lie, like in this day and age, that's the majority of people. People value money over morals. Look at these people selling their soul for money. Look at these people holding themselves out, you know what I'm saying, and everything for money, for $1. Look at these people on social media sharing any and everything to try to make $1. Regardless of if it's false information, regardless of if you sharing it is going to hurt somebody else, you could be destroying somebody. I see people sharing these dudes, talking about they child molesters and everything, and I look the names up on Google and don't find nothing on them. And I'm with all these stories y'all putting out here, you know what I'm saying, with these people and using these people's names and these people's images. Like, how is this person not arrested? But y'all got all this information on person. But like I said, that's another story. But like I said, a lot of these women these days, older and younger, have been led to believe that a man's job is to financially take care of them. Let me say this, man. I have never in my life financially took care of any woman. But I have had so many successful relationships. So let me say this to the fellas out here that's running around and all these women wanting money, all these women this and that there. All the women you deal with might be about money. All these women that you run across or that you come in contact with might be about money. But you can't put that on all women, because I know women that have took me when I was fresh out of prison, and like the old people used to say, Didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. All I had was a plan. And I've had women to say, hey, I believe in you. What do you need? So they out there. But just like I said, they've been done wrong. That was my issue with them, to where I couldn't totally build with them, because somewhere down the line in that relationship, the switch flipped in their mind, and from the past. Because I did something that's like, oh, that triggered me. That reminded me of what what's her name did. Well, I'm not what's her name. I'm me. And just like I said, that emotional baggage, they couldn't get past it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you must be doing this and you must be doing that, because when he did it, he was doing that. That's not how it worked. But like I said, financial struggles are one of the best, you know what I'm saying, one of the worst, man, because just like I said, people are really feeling like, you know what I'm saying, hey, like, it's a man's job to take care of a woman. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Yes, he is a provider, but, you know what I'm saying, look it up. Look in the Bible, look in your Bible, if you go by the Bible, because I see a lot of y'all just be capping. Y'all use the Bible when it's relevant, but you look in the Bible and see what a provider means. Because every woman, you know what I'm saying, don't need money. Some women out there making their own money, but does that mean you can't provide for them? You know what I'm saying? I can provide many things. I can build houses. I can grow food. You know what I'm saying? If you got a business, I can help you, you know what I'm saying, start, grow, you know what I'm saying, your business. Like, I have so many other skills, talents, knowledge, you know, so much other stuff that if you can put a value on it. Like you said, I have construction skills. I can build. You can put a value on that. But you know what I'm saying? I could build you a house, you know what I'm saying, without giving you no money, and be a provider. So we have to, you know what I'm saying, really get to a place of understanding where we know what provider means, and find a man who provides what you need. Some of you, you know what I'm saying, the women broke, they need help. There's no problem. Let a man know, hey, I need financial help. They talking about nowadays, if you're not a man, if you can't do it 100, you can't pay 100%. 50-50 is not manly. That's bullshit. You got women out here right now that would have loved, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's going to legitimately 50-50 and build. So there's somebody for everybody. That's when I be talking about this soulmate stuff. But if you don't know who you are, or you're not comfortable expressing who you are, your wants and needs, your dreams and goals to somebody, you can't hope to find somebody who matches that. You can't never hope to find somebody who can enhance that in you and can help you accomplish those goals or help you accomplish those dreams. The next thing that we deal with that prevents us from finding our soulmate or finding true love is mistrust and infidelity, man. Mistrust and infidelity. Look here. First of all, let me say this about mistrust and infidelity. You can't control another person. You can't control another person. Like I said, I've been in so many successful relationships. I have never tried to control a woman, what she does with her body, what she does in her free time, none of that. None of that. What I will do is set boundaries on what I'm willing to accept. Hear me out. I've never tried to control a woman and say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. But I have a set of boundaries for me that says, I'm not dealing with this, I'm not dealing with that, and I'm not dealing with this. And a lot of women these days, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's the damaged women. The damaged women have gotten to the point where they want to control the man. They want to control, you know, okay, when I'm here, you need to be here with me. You don't need to be in no other female's face. You know what I'm saying? And when I go on a girl's trip, you need to be at home. Or when I'm at work, you need to be doing this. And you know what I'm saying? That is bullshit. You will never get, you know what I'm saying? The most you can hope, just like me in dealing with those women, the most you can hope from people these days, and I hate to say like it's nearly impossible to get it, but the most you can really hope for is honesty, man. Honesty. And that's me. Like I said, I knew early I wasn't getting married yet. I wasn't getting married till I found the right one. So yes, I dated. Yes, I was in relationships with multiple women. Yes, like I've said in the past, I've even been in poly relationships that worked. And the reason why all of those successful relationships were possible is because I was honest with the people I was dealing with. And I'm going to be honest. The main thing about those people, you know what I'm saying, a lot of women I saw, they lacked boundaries. They lacked boundaries. And I'm not saying just because, you know, you let me cheat or whatever is whatever. No. If you say, hey, I want a man who is not dealing with any other women, you know what I'm saying, and just with me, if that's your boundary, if that's what you set for yourself, no, don't let any man change that. Don't let any man make you go against that, because as soon as you do, you falling for weakness. You're weak, and like you're going to be used. You're going to be abused. So like I said, a lot of us play that role and put ourselves in that situation to the point where, yeah, like I said, to those who say, well, he was honest with me, you know what I'm saying, this and that, like I said, we have to learn to respect the honesty, man, and learn to trust. And I know that's hard, but trust people to be themselves. That's the hardest thing I see with women, my daughters and everybody. Like, literally, trust people to be themselves. Know what I'm saying? Think about it. I don't like no liar. Okay, well, how many lies are you going to accept? How many lies are you going to accept, women? If you don't like liars and you don't deal with liars and you're not going to deal with liars, you shouldn't accept the first lie. You shouldn't let somebody tell you crazy and say, okay, well, I'm going to catch him, and you just stand with him to catch him. No, if you know a motherfucker lying and that is a boundary, stand on it. As soon as a motherfucker lie to you, cut him off. That's how I do. People say I was crazy because I messed up a whole poly relationship and put a woman out because she was lying. And my homeboy like, bro, you had two women in the house at the same time. I don't care. If one of them lying to me or either one of them lying to me, what are we building? If you lie back to me about anything, what do I have to worry about later? What lies do I have to worry about being told later? It's not that serious. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, just because, like the women, oh, he cute and all this and this and that, so you're going to let him lie to you? You're going to let him deceive you? You're going to let him disrespect you? Like, no. Set some boundaries, man. Mistrust and infidelity, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, your past. Get over your past. Do what it takes to get over your past. I talked to my daughter. She got violent issues. She like, you know what I'm saying, putting her hands on people. And I respect it because that's how she was taught. But that's not how life really is. So I talked to her, man, go talk to somebody. Go talk to a counselor. You know what I'm saying? They don't judge. They don't even know you. They just listen, you know what I'm saying, and give you their expert opinion. They don't know you to judge you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get ourselves together in order to be receptive, or in order to attract. In order to attract, because I'm not going to lie, just like I mentioned earlier, when I met my soulmate, it was an attraction, not a physical attraction. It was just hey, I need to know her. I need to talk to her. And the more I talked to her, the more I realized that she's like a female version of me. She's like the female that I need. She, you know, is just like the woman I looked at, which is my grandmother. She, you know what I'm saying, and how she was a wife and how she took care of everything. I looked at that and said, man, and I'm going to tell you this. You know what I'm saying? For people, you know what I'm saying, that be tripping nowadays. Everybody say, oh, this is that they're a woman, this is that they're a woman. My soulmate, you know what I'm saying, went to work every day, got off work, cooked, you know what I'm saying, made sure the house was straight, you know what I'm saying, like all of that. Because that's how she was taught. That's, you know what I'm saying, her mother didn't even work, but she knew, okay, My dad worked, my mother stayed at home and raised kids, this and that. But if I want to do better, if I want to, like, I'll find my husband and we will both work together. You know what I'm saying? And he can mow the yard. After work, he has to mow the yard. He has to do that stuff. So I'll do it. Like, come on, man. So for those who say, oh, the women ain't doing that no more, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's some of them out there, you know what I'm saying, that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know what I'm saying, they doing it anyway because they got kids. So doing it for a man is no different. It's no different. But we have to, you know what I'm saying, work on learning to trust again, man. Every dude that cheated on you, like the dude that cheated on you, that's not every man. That's not every man. Now, a lot of these niggas is. A lot of them are. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are because women have gotten overly easy these days. They have gotten overly easy. It's easier for a woman, you know what I'm saying, to lay up and let you, you know what I'm saying, to you know what I'm saying, sex her than it is for her to get up and go in there, you know what I'm saying, and get in the kitchen and cook a meal. So the standards for women have gotten, you know what I'm saying, these young women got the standards so messed up to the point where I see why the older women are, you know, less likely to date or don't want to date, you know what I'm saying, as much because, like you said, it's piss in the dating pool. It's piss in the dating pool. So that I will give y'all. And believe me when I say I'm a man and I know that there are way more good women out there than there are good men, man. Just by design. Just by design. But like I said, another thing that gets us, man, is fear of commitment and abandonment issues. Like, man, there's so many people that deal with that. And those are the controlling people I was talking about. Those are the people that want to, know what I'm saying, control your movement every step of the way, every step. Like you can, you know what I'm saying, if I can control you, then I can keep you from cheating. You know what I'm saying? Or I can keep you from leaving me. That's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. The women I was with, I was with them because I wanted to be with them. Because they brought something to my life that I needed. They brought something to the table. And it wasn't always sex. It wasn't always money. It was, you know what I'm saying, motivation. It was encouragement. It was, you know what I'm saying, what I needed at the time. And just like I said, a lot of it, you can't put a money value on it. But to me, it was priceless. It was priceless. So like I said, fear of commitment and abandonment, man. How fear makes us reject what's good for us. And I swear to God, that's what I meant when I say a lot of the women that I've dealt with or I've been in a relationship with, they didn't know how to receive love. They didn't understand love. And I know it because they never saw it. They never experienced it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, especially, you know what I'm saying, the damage of the women with baggage, because that plays a toll on their emotions. That plays a serious toll on their emotions when the feelings get involved. And like you said, people lash out for fear. People, you know what I'm saying, start, you know, subconsciously pushing you away. You know, start arguments and you know, I want to see if he leave. I want to see, you know, I want to see, you know, how far it go before he leave. Like, all of that is damage, man. All of that is a part of fear of commitment and abandonment issues. And man, one of the most important things that we deal with is unhealthy relationship models, man. And like, man, this day and age, social media relationships, whether it's, you know, these, what do you call them? Influencers, bloggers, and everything that's putting a relationship out there front and center. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is, oh, they look so cute together. Oh, they having stuff. Oh, they took a trip and they shared pictures of their trip, and oh, they got a beautiful family, and oh, it's just so perfect. Like, I want a relationship like that. I want somebody who adores me like that. And the next thing you know, the man killing the woman or something. That's unhealthy relationship models. Me, looking at my mother in a relationship with abusive ass men. You know what I'm saying? Those are unhealthy relationship models. And just like I said, I was lucky enough to not get caught up in it, but I have friends. I have male friends who watch their mom get beat up their whole life and tell them, stay out of it. That's grown folks' business. So some of them same guys grew up to beat up their women and tell their kids, stay out of it. It's grown folks' business. That is taught. That is taught, and that is so unhealthy. And just like I said, I've had women, you know what I'm saying, to tell my daughter, oh, well, don't tell your daddy, or don't listen, don't worry about what he got. Like, what healthy person does that? What healthy person would tell a daughter who has a relationship with her father, whose father adores her and wants the best for her? What woman would tell her, oh, well, don't tell your daddy, or what? That's damage. That's damage. Unhealthy relationships. Unhealthy relationships. Women allow men to teach them bullshit and say, oh, that's because I'm a man, or oh, that's this or the third, this or the third, and you got some women running around trying to act like me. That shit is bogus. That's unhealthy relationship models. How we grew up seeing, what we grew up seeing affects our choices, man. They can't help it to. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all women, you gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all, watch y'all mama, you know what I'm saying, deal with them bullshit ass niggas, and got grown, and you know what I'm saying, you attracting, and you know what I'm saying, you know, getting with the same type of dudes. Why is that? You don't think that's conditioning? You don't think something wrong? You don't think, you know what I'm saying, that you need to do something different? You might need to talk to somebody and try to get your head together to see why. Like, if I know that's wrong, why am I attracting the same thing? Because subconsciously, that's who you are. That's who you are. But do any of y'all ever see, you know what I'm saying, any of these patterns in yourself? I'm going to go back over them again. You know what I'm saying? Do you see these patterns in yourself? Unresolved trauma and emotional baggage. Do you see that in yourself? Poor communication skills. Are you a good communicator? Let's keep it real. Like I said, a lot of times we think we are, but other people have told us we're not. So, are you a good communicator? Are your financial struggles hindering you from meeting people or meeting the right people? Or you just so caught up in the money and trying to get some money, and you need a nigga with money to the point where, you know what I'm saying, is that the problem? Is that the problem that's causing you? Or is it mistrust and infidelity? Have you been cheated on? You know what I'm saying? Have people constantly, you know what I'm saying, took advantage of your trust? Okay, fear of commitment. Abandonment issues. Have you been abandoned by a parent? You know what I'm saying? Have you been, like, a lot of these guys were abandoned by their dads. A lot of these girls were abandoned by their dads. You know what I'm saying? I was. But like I said, I never had abandonment issues. I know it made me not never want to abandon my kids or make them feel like they were abandoned or I wasn't there for them. But unhealthy relationship models. What type of relationships you saw when you were growing up? Did you see healthy, happy, nurturing relationships? Or did you see the abusive, you know, controlling type relationships? Do you see yourself in any of these patterns? Do you see yourself in any of these patterns? Ooh, we done ran my mouth too much. But, man, let me see. It's 8:50. Let me run through this right quick. Breaking free. It's not too late, man. It's not too late to get yourself together and prepare yourself to accept love, you know what I'm saying, and to attract your soulmate, man. But how to overcome those barriers and prepare for your soulmate, man. Number one is healing and self-discovery. You can't attract the right person if you're not aligned with yourself. If you don't know who you are, what your purpose is, and what impact you were meant to make on this world, you're not ready. Because what is the soulmate going to nurture? What are they going to help you grow? How are they going to help you develop further if you don't know who you are, what you're doing, and where you're going? Emotional growth and communication, learning how to express yourself and be vulnerable. You're going to have to learn to be vulnerable, not with anybody. Not with anybody, and that's why I say it now, that Netflix and chill, or like I tell my daughter, that texting, you can't build a relationship with texting. Sitting on the phone all day, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can communicate, you can learn, but you're not going to really get to know that person until y'all are in the same company and to know the vibe, not the feelings, the connection. But breaking generational patterns, healing from what we were taught about love. Well, if I took the teachings that I taught, I would be scared of love right now. I'm glad that I was, you know what I'm saying, healthy enough, you know what I'm saying, to not get caught up with that and not, you know, learn those bad generational patterns when it comes to relationships. The next, developing financial stability, not needing wealth, but not letting financial stress ruin relationships. You know, man, money. The lust for money is the root of all evil, not money. Because I've seen people, you know what I'm saying, take money and change the world. So it's not the money. But trust and forgiveness, letting go of the past to embrace real love. It don't work without that. And recognizing and choosing the right person. Soulmates are not sent to us. We must recognize and accept them and accept what comes with them. Accept the constructive criticism. Except when he say, hey, you could be better. Except when he say, hey, our relationship could be better, and not look at it as a knock to you or as putting you down or, you know, not respecting what you bring to the table, but knowing it could be better. Do you want better? If you don't, you're not ready for the soulmate. But this is what I want to ask you. Have you ever walked away from someone who was actually good for you? I need answers. The next question is, what's one thing from your past that has affected your relationships? Talk to me. Let me know something. Let me know something. But, like I say, it's never too late. It's never too late to heal and attract your soulmate. And what I want y'all to do, I want you to do one thing this week to improve your relationship mindset. I don't care what it is. Do one thing this week to improve your relationship mindset. But, hey, it's almost time to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to tune in next week. I haven't figured out, you know, what the subject is going to be, but I guarantee you, as always, it's going to be powerful. And we ain't talking about nothing. But, hey, if you know what I'm saying, interested in gaining some coaching, if you're interested in, you know, changing your relationship mindset and preparing yourself to attract your soulmate, like, hit me up. Like I said, hit me up for a free consultation. I am TobyO'Neal.com, or schedule a free 1-hour coaching session. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Look, your soulmate is not just about romance. It's about alignment. It's about balance. The more you heal, grow, and become your best self, the more likely you are to attract the right person. If you feel like you missed your soulmate, don't worry. Your journey is still unfolding. Keep building, keep growing, and love will find you in the right season. Love will find you in the right season. Hey, man. It's Mr. O'Neal. P-Ave Perspective, man. Another powerful week, man. Another powerful message. I thank y'all again for tuning in. Whether you are watching the live stream or whether you're watching the replay on YouTube, I truly appreciate it. If you like the content, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like somebody else needs to hear what I'm sharing, hey, follow me on social media, our social media platforms. I am TobyO'Neal.com. Share the video, tag somebody in the video who you feel need to hear this, and let's keep pushing for greatness. Let's keep pushing for prosperity. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neal. This is P-Ave Perspective, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.